Hey everybody, this is Royal with Paternity University. I am here with my office manager and phlebotomist, Bianca. And today we're going to break down the legal DNA test, the non-legal DNA test, and the prenatal paternity test, which you see right here. So first off, the legal DNA test is used for legal reasons. So anything from removing or adding a name from a birth certificate, child custody, child support issues, getting a child enrolled in the school and you have to have your name as the alleged father on the documentation. That is what it's used for, okay? What makes it court admissible is the chain of custody. So this piece of paper right here, this is a DDC legal paternity test, makes it court admissible. Bianca is going to go into that in just a second, but how it's filled out and why it's filled out, as well as how it's packaged, makes it court admissible because it is sent directly from you as a neutral third-party DNA collector directly to the lab. So without further ado, I'm gonna have Bianca explain.
All right guys, so when it comes down to the chain of custody, we wanna make sure that it's filled out properly and correctly. So I like to go ahead and highlight the certain areas that our clients need to fill out, such as the mother's information, child, and father. Your information, make sure not to miss here at the bottom. This is going to be filled out, timestamped as well as here in the back. Once this is done, it also does come with your swabs along with your envelope here. So this envelope will go ahead and be for your child and father. You're going to put the patient's name, date of birth, your information, your initials, and collection date. The sample is very important to make sure you do check who it's from. So it's either going to be the alleged father, the child, or mother. Each client who is being tested does have 4 swabs. So what I like to make sure is be very mindful with your clients. If they have cuts, sores, blisters, anything in their mouth, ask them beforehand just so you don't hurt the client themselves. You always want to make sure that the client does not consume any alcohol 3 hours prior to the test. So that's including mouthwash, including your alcohol. You're gonna do 2 swabs on the left and 2 swabs on the right. As soon as you're done with that, of course, you want to make sure that everything is not being touched. You want to make sure there's no contamination in play. You're going to put your swabs in here and seal it. Make sure you do switch out, very important, switch out your gloves for every client you have because, again, cross-contamination, you don't want anything to happen. As soon as that's done, you're going to go ahead and package everything just like this as done. So all your samples. Do not forget to include, again, for legal, you want to make sure you include the pictures of the tested parties, including the father and child. Also, as well, you can either have the last 4 of the child or a copy of the birth certificate to send in as well. Once everything is packaged back into this little plastic baggie, you're going to put your do not tamper seal just like this. Make sure you put your initials, date, and sign. And from there, everything is good to go.
Okay. So for this next one, we're going to talk about the non-legal paternity test. Now, the non-legal paternity test, as you can see, is not used for court purposes. Just because it's non-legal actually does not mean it's illegal. It just means that it does not have a chain of custody. Therefore, it can't be used for court. It's only for informational purposes. Bianca, can you go ahead and explain the non-legal DNA test, please?
So this is the way it's packaged for when it's coming from DDC. This is your non-legal kit right here. So once you open it up here, it's going to consist of 3 different envelopes, including the swabs. So in total, it's going to come with 6 of your swabs and 3 of your envelopes. So for each of your clients, again, you want to make sure that this is filled out correctly. All you're going to need is a patient's name, their initials, date of birth, your information, which is under collector's name, initials, collection date, and then the samples of the source of where it's from. So it's going to ask alleged father, child, mother, whatever the case may be. Then you always want to make sure you do have your swabs. Make sure they are sealed, not open. You have brand new gloves. Again, contamination is a big thing. You want to be safe and have that good stuff going for you. So again, you want to do 2 swabs on the left, 2 swabs on the right. Again, be mindful of your clients and making sure they don't have any blisters, cuts, sores, or anything in their mouth, just so you don't hurt the client themselves. Always make sure to ask them that if they've had any alcohol in the last 3 hours, including mouthwash with alcohol. So as soon as you're done, you're going to collect again left and right, total of 4 swabs for each client testing party. As soon as you're done, you're going to put your swabs right into the little envelope right in here. Making sure the swabs do not touch anything, you don't put them on any body part of the client, coughing, sneezing, anything like that. Again, contamination, be clean as possible. Once you're done with here, you're gonna input it back into this little seal. You're gonna go ahead and take off this little plastic ridge here, and you're going to close it. Other than that, it's all good to go.
So for the next one, we're gonna talk about the prenatal paternity test. Now, the prenatal paternity test can be used for court purposes, or it can be used for informational. The only difference is you can just remove the chain of custody if somebody just wants to know, and that's all, okay? So not that much of a big deal. I'm gonna have Bianca break down and explain the contents of the prenatal paternity test.
Alrighty guys, so with the prenatal, it's going to come in this kind of packaging. It's gonna say DDC. Once you open it up, it's going to come with some paperwork, all that good stuff that we'll get into, but the main important ones are your tubes. So these tubes are 10 ml, okay? They're gonna hold up to 10 ml of blood from the actual mother, okay? So mom does have to be 7 weeks or further along. The further along she is, the stronger DNA strand that's going to come about. On the tubes, it's gonna ask you for the mother's information, initials, date of birth, your information, as well as your initials. Let's just say you can't get a full 2 tubes, okay? So what I like to do is making sure you do at least send 1 full tube and the extra one a half. You can't go that far, at least no less than the half tube, depending on what, how far along mom is. The lab may call you back to get a little more, but just to be on the safe side, get 2 full tubes. Along with that, you're going to have the chain of custody. Against how Royal said, if it's for legal or non-legal, you can send this in or not. Just make sure you get the basic information from the clients. It's going to also have your instructions. There's always a second source to go about, so just follow instructions. Pretty simple, pretty easy. When it comes down to the alleged father, you are going to make sure you do have the swabs, okay? So in total it's gonna be 4 swabs, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Make sure you are mindful of your client, making sure there's no sores, cuts, blisters in their mouth, just so you don't hurt them or collect the extra blood, whatever. As well as making sure they have not had any alcohol in the last 3 hours before the test, including mouthwash containing alcohol. Once you collect the swabs on the left and the right side, you're going to make sure you put them in this little envelope. On this envelope, it's going to ask for the patient's name, date of birth, collected date, as well it's going to ask for the race. Make sure you do fill that out, very important. Then it's going to ask for their initials and your collector's initials. Again, another thing to make sure is that you do not contaminate these swabs. It's very easy to drop them, to have a client sneeze on them, touch body parts, clothes, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure you're very mindful of not contaminating them. Once you're done collecting, you're going to put them back inside this little envelope and seal it. As soon as everything is done, you're going to package it here into your biohazard bag. So in your biohazard bag, it is going to consist of the actual foam tubes here. You're gonna go ahead and put the chain of custody or not chain of custody along with dad swabs in this area. Make sure you do input these little absorbent pads on top of the tubes. In case there's a spill, they break, go ahead and less contamination within the shipping. Once all this is sealed, you're going to close this. Once you close it off, it's all good to go. You're gonna put it right back into your little box. Again, make sure you have everything, go back, redo your stuff if you need to, and then other than that, all done.
Okay, the last thing that we're gonna talk about is packaging these samples to be sent to the lab. It's very important that you package them correctly, especially the prenatal, to make sure that there's no spills. Bianca is gonna talk about exactly how to package.
So when it comes down to packaging your legal and your non-legal, it's pretty simple when it comes down to just the swabs. So this, again, this is your non-legal, and right here is your legal. Again, so they can go into the same packaging. You just use a regular FedEx, cardboard, pretty simple. You can go ahead and just input them like this. Make sure they are all sealed. Once you have that there, you're going to remove, of course, the little sticky tab up here. You're gonna fold it. Important, make sure you do have the correct shipping label. As soon as you're done packaging everything, you're just gonna slap this right on and then off you go. Either FedEx can come pick it up wherever you're doing it, or you can drop it off yourself. Now when it comes down to your prenatal, we're gonna use the different bag. So here, of course, you're gonna input your prenatal into this little baggie right here. Fits just like a glove. You're gonna use the shipping label that you have to send out. You're gonna slap it right up here. Again, make sure it's closed and sealed properly. As soon as that's done, you can go ahead and either, again, have FedEx come pick it up, drop it off, whatever the case may be. Always be mindful when it comes to customer service with your clients, guys. You can always let them know that you can offer the shipping, the tracking to them, just to let them know like they have access to track it themselves, as well as so do you.
Thank y'all so much for watching this. I really just wanted to break down exactly how these tests look. Generally, when I've been talking about them, they've kind of been theoretical unless you have the actual Paternity University course where I actually have it broken down. But this is Bianca talking about it. I just wanted to show it all. Thank you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know what you thought. Thank y'all so much. Until next time.